not even need Bauer's game for me.
Ahoy there, YouTube! I'm back again today for another game review, and today I'm very excited to be checking out Herd Mentality from Big Potato Games. This is for 4 to 20 players, ages 10 plus, and I will say right from the beginning, I would say ages 8 plus, if you're actually really wondering about playing this with your family. And in Herd Mentality, this is a really simple game in which everyone is going to get a pencil and a sheet of paper at the beginning, or a pen, and then a question is going to be read aloud. The question might be, what is the best flavor of chips? Or would you rather have robot arms or robot legs? I just read those two off the back of the box. So one question is going to be read, and then everyone is going to secretly write down their answer, and then they're going to flip that over to show that they are ready. If anyone takes too long to write down their answer, then you get to moo at them. Moo, 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 moo. I'm mentioning that right now because it's actually one of the dumbest, most fun parts of the game, and I can give you a nearly money-back guarantee, I can't actually do that, I'm not with the company, that you will start using moo on your game night to rush people from now on. It's actually quite genius. But anywho, once everyone has written down their answers, you're going to flip over your answers and read them aloud. If you are in the crowd that answered the same way with the most correct answer, so let's say, would you rather have robot arms or robot legs? So 4 people wrote robot arms, 3 people wrote robot legs, and Greg, who wasn't listening because he was on his phone, wrote down robot eyes. So let's pretend that's the scenario that actually happened. So in this case, the 4 people who wrote down robot arms, who are obviously correct, would get a cow point. And if you can get to 8 cow points, you will be the winner of the game. Now, one thing I also want to mention before I forget is that this is one of my favorite end game mechanisms, which is that if 2 people get to 8 points at the same time, then now the new end game condition goes up to, boom, 9 points, but everybody else is still in the game and still has a chance to catch up. Zombie Dice has the same mechanism, and I wish more games had that mechanism. But anywho, so the 4 people who wrote down robot arms, who are obviously right, would get a cow point. Moo. The 3 people who wrote down robot legs, they don't get anything, but they don't get punished. However, the one person who wrote down the wrong answer that nobody else thought of gets the cow of shame, the pink cow of shame. This is a floating losing condition, which means that if you have the floating cow in front of you, you can still gain points, but if you get to that magical number 8 point and you have the floating cow in front of you, you can't win. So as long as you have this in front of you, can't win. Now, that being said, every single round is literally just flipping over one of the questions, reading it out loud, and then... So this is going to get passed pretty frequently. That's what I'm trying to get here. So that's the general synopsis of the game, but this is the review. So let's go over the pros, let's go over the cons, and I'm actually going to mix things up. So please let me know in the comments down below. What I used to always do is I'd go over the pros, and then I'd go over the cons, and I'd tell you what I thought of the game at the very end. And then I was like... After 1,300 reviews, I'm like, why do I bury the lead like that? Let's just throw the lead right here, tell you exactly what I think, and then break down why I think that is. So let me know what you think about this. So I'm going to give this an 8. And my final rating for Herd Mentality is going to be an 8. And here's what I have to say about this game. If you are still on the lighter side of the game, or your game group is still on the lighter side of the hobby, I'm talking if you routinely play King of Tokyo, Carcassonne, Settlers of Catan, Pandemic, games of that ilk, I think this is going to go over very well at your game night. Also, if you actually legitimately play games with your family, like family get-togethers and stuff, yes, also definitely recommending. I think this is great, and I think you can go to Target right now, pick it up, I'm assuming it'll be in Target, and have a good deal of fun with this. Not to mention, rules, very, very simple, and there's a good video that'll teach you how to play. All good stuff right there. They know what they're doing. This company polishes their games a good deal. We're on the cons. Just start on the cons. So on the con side, if you're on the heavier game night, so if your game night plays heavier games, typically like your Orleans, your 2, your 3 hour games, I would say medium to heavyweight games. I don't think this one is probably going to go over nearly as well, just because the people that come into game night are expecting heavier games, and this does not really fit that bill. Maybe as a gateway game, or not as a gateway game, as a filler game, but still, if you're in that type of game crowd, and I have one of those game nights, this is just something that I don't think is going to go over too particularly well. Another comment I have with this game is that it has a lot of Europe-themed questions. I don't want to say a lot, but you'll play through at least 1 or 2 probably throughout the game. You'll be like, that's kind of odd. Like, what is the flavor of crisp? It's not actually, I gave you the example of the flavor of chips. It's actually crisp. And they had like one where it was like name a British town, like a city in Britain, and it's like, oh my gosh, like not even Europe, like they didn't give us Europe, like the whole thing. It was just like this one specific country. And I think they mentioned pence and pounds a couple times. So little things like that will pop up, and you're like, it's a little bit annoying. But overall, I don't have too many cons on this game as long as you go into the game understanding that it is on the lighter side. Oh, no, I'm going to leave that for the pros. So moving on to the pros, what do I like about it? I think it's great, and I'm going to actually keep it because I have my Wednesday night game night, which is on the heavier side, but then I also go to other game nights that are on the lighter sides, not to mention as a family game. I can recommend keeping this game, or buying this game in this instance, because you probably don't have it yet. So what do I like about herd mentality? Easy to learn, easy to teach. Once you know the rules, you're never really going to need to go back to the rules. I mean, you might have to like glance at it, but you'll be like, oh yeah, this is incredibly simple. So this is a great as a party game. This is great as a drinking style game. We played this, I want to mention, at 6 players. We played it twice at 6 players. Normally, I do like to test these at the higher player counts, but with coronavirus, that is not probably going to be in the cards. But going up to 20 players is incredibly appealing, and I think it would absolutely work at 20 players. Like I see no issues as long as everybody just gets a sheet of paper, everybody gets a pen and a pencil. I think this is going to be an absolutely spectacular large group game, and that, you know what, honestly, that makes me want to bump it up from an 8. Yes, I'm bumping this up right now. We're doing it live. I'm going to 8.3 on this bad boy, because one thing I didn't consider is I think this is a great game for family get-togethers and lighter game nights. But then you start to really think about how many games are there that accommodate 12 plus players well. Like, can actually accommodate 12 plus players well. There's not nearly as many as I would like there to be, and this is one of them. This would be the perfect style of game to bring to, what is it, like an office Christmas party or something like that, because this, oh man, the more I think about this game, the more I like this game. So it's all getting into my brain. Excuse me, while I try and compartmentalize this. There aren't too many games. Like, I have a specific area for games that are like 10 plus players, because there's not that many, and I think this is definitely a new one that is going to need to be in everyone's collection at that player count, because this is so easy to understand. Grandma is not going to be scared of this game and try hopefully sit this one out. You know, you can play it with your 8-9-year-old nephew. You can play it with people, you know, Pete from IT, who's completely hammered. You can play this with everybody, and dang it, that's why I like it. So I'm going to go with an 8.3 on this game. Components are nice. I wish the cards were a little bit more, you know, centered. Oh, but that's another awesome thing about this game, is that you don't have to follow the cards. Like, they even say, if you think you have your own question, just say it. So this could literally devolve, or evolve, depending on which way you really want to think about it, into people just asking questions and getting to know each other. Oh my gosh, there's so many layers to this game. I'm so surprised. That was a punch of excitement, not a punch of anger. Normally I punch the bad games. This is a good game. Sorry I punched you. Herd mentality. The more I think about it, the more I like it. There's a lot of different scenarios where I'm going to be able to get this game played, and really, at the end of the day, isn't that what you want? I mean, I love a lot of these games, but Lois and Clark, The Expedition, that is an absolutely spectacular game. Historically themed, dripping with theme. You know what? I'm never going to get that to the table. It's just not going to happen. Herd mentality. Oh, we're going to a big gathering where people might be interested in playing games? Yeah, I'll take this one with the fuzzy box on it and the pink pig that's not going to scare anybody away, but really I'm converting people to go to their local Target and be like, ooh, what's this Settlers of Catan game? It's on sale, and bam, they're in the hobby. Herd mentality. Big Potato Games, they get it. They're trying to lure them in as well. Then they release the Chameleon, and they're like, whoa, this is like a gamey game, but it's at Target. This review went off the rails. That's kind of nice. I kind of like it. I'm trying to get more open, more freeform, more crazy with my reviews. Let me know what you think about it down in the comments below. And as always, thanks for your time, YouTube.